Welcome to the fourth in this series of presentations that have been developed as part of the Plymouth College of Art and Atlantic Youth Creative Hub's Creative Entrepreneurs Business Incubation Programme. The programme has been designed to support young creative entrepreneurs by providing the fundamental skills required to develop an idea, plan and start a business, and ultimately take their products or services to market. Through a series of workshops, events, and mentoring, participants increase their business knowledge, gained confidence to start a new business, and develop their professional practice. My name is Mark Cotton, and I've produced this series of presentations to capture and share the content of the AYCH workshops, creating a resource for future reference. In a previous workshop, we introduced the business model canvas and described how it can be used as a strategic tool to help conceptualize new business models or to document existing ones. We described it as a visual framework for thinking about how the key elements of a business work together. The value proposition is one of the key elements of your business model. And this session introduces you to a simple tool that helps you to clarify your offer and create customer profiles to ensure a fit between the two. So today, we're going to take a deeper dive into the value proposition in order that you can gain a better understanding of how your offer intersects with your customers' desires, be able to identify the magic fit between what you make or deliver and why people would buy it from you, and be able to use value propositioning as a product development tool in the future. We'll look at two distinct elements of the business model canvas, so the value proposition and the customer segment sections, and introduce another practical tool, the value proposition canvas. So the value proposition is where your company's product offer intersects with your customers' desires. It's that magic fit between what you make and why people buy it or consume it or use it. The value proposition is the crunch point between your business strategy and your brand strategy. And when you're starting a new project or a new venture, you probably need quick and dirty tools to help you focus on executing things faster and better. The value proposition sits at the pivot point of the entire business model, and mapping out any new product or service is one of the most important parts of building a business strategy. It will help you to think about the benefits, features, and the experience that your product provides, whilst at the same time considering a customer's needs or their wants or their fears as they move closer to the transaction stage of getting a product to market. The dictionary definition of value proposition is an innovation, service, or feature intended to make a company or product attractive to customers, i.e. you and the stuff that you do and the people who want that stuff from you. Two of the key questions you should be asking yourself as a business are, how well do you know your product or service, and how much do you understand about your customers or potential customers? That's where the value proposition canvas tool can be very helpful. When you're starting a new product or a new venture, you need to move fast in order to do things better. And the value proposition, as I've said, sits at the pivot point of the entire business model. There are lots of templates out there for value proposition canvas. There's lots of different ways that you can capture this stuff and help you to develop better products and services. Today, we're just going to focus on a couple of those templates, two that I think are actually the best. We're going to start with this one. So the value proposition canvas fundamentally has two sides. There's a customer profile side and a customer segment side. The value proposition canvas on the customer profile side, you clarify what you understand about your customer. And this links to the customer segment section of the business model canvas. On the customer segment section, we focus on the customer jobs. And the customer jobs describe what a customer needs your product or service to do for them. whilst the pains describe the risks or the bad outcomes or the obstacles related to these jobs, and the gains, however, describe the positive outcomes that customers want to achieve or the benefits that they are seeking from your product or service. On the value map side, you describe how you intend to create value for that customer, and this relates to the value proposition section of the business model canvas. We start by listing the products and services that make up your value proposition. We then look at the gain creators, which describe how these products and services create the gains for your customer. And also then the pain relievers, which describe how your products and services alleviate your customers' pains. You achieve a fit when your value map meets your customer profile, when your products and services produce pain relievers and gain creators that match the jobs, pains, and gains that are important to your customers.
Every day, companies design products and services to improve their customers' lives. But 72% of new product and service innovations fail to deliver on expectations. This means that customers don't care about 7 out of 10 new products introduced to the market. It doesn't have to be this way. Just like you create value for your business with a business model canvas, there is in fact a tool to intentionally visualize, design, and test how you create value for customers. It's called the Value Proposition Canvas. The Value Proposition Canvas is composed of 2 parts, the customer profile and the value map. With the customer profile, you describe the jobs your customers try to get done. Jobs can be functional, like getting from A to B, social, like impressing friends and colleagues, or emotional, like gaining peace of mind. You highlight your customers' pains, which annoy customers while trying to get a job done. Pains are negative outcomes that customers hope to avoid, like dissatisfactions with existing solutions and challenges, frustrations, risks, or obstacles related to performing a job. And you outline customer gains, which describe how customers measure the success of a job well done. Gains are positive outcomes that customers hope to achieve, like concrete results, benefits, and even aspirations. Use the customer profile to visualize, test, and track your understanding of the people or companies you intend to create value for. It's a map that becomes clearer the more you learn about your customers. The second part of the canvas is the value map. With it, you list the products and services your value proposition builds on. You describe in which way these products, services, and features are pain relievers, how they eliminate, reduce, or minimize pains customers care about, making their life easier. And you outline in which way they are gain creators, how they produce, increase, or maximize outcomes and benefits that your customers expect, desire, or would be surprised by. The value map makes explicit how your products and services relieve pains and create gains. Use it to design, test, and iterate your value proposition until you figure out what resonates with customers. You achieve fit by creating a clear connection between what matters to customers and how your products, services, and features ease pains and create gains. Great value propositions target essential customer jobs, pains, and gains, and do so extremely well. Your customer profile may contain countless jobs, pains, and gains, but your value map highlights which ones you intend to focus on. But don't forget, an outstanding value proposition can still fail if your business model is flawed. Successful companies embed outstanding value propositions in scalable and profitable business models. Use the value proposition canvas to create products and services that customers want. Get started at strategizer.com.
So the value proposition canvas we've been looking at so far is from the Value Proposition Designer book, which includes several bits of thinking from the lean startup movement, such as the jobs to be done, the customer gains, and the customer pains. And as it's said in the video there, great value propositions target a customer's jobs, gains, and pains in a way that kind of makes it irresistible for the customer to want to buy or access your product or your service. And this value proposition canvas template is good, but for me, it's not perfect. It could be said that the product proposition side isn't grounded enough in marketing and persuasion techniques, and that it doesn't guide the user into thinking creatively and into honest self-evaluation. And the customer side doesn't really guide the user into deep empathy for their customers, or draw out enough new customer insights. Not all human decision making is rational, but even if purchasing behavior is irrational, it can still, to a degree, be predictable. The Peter J. Thompson version of the value proposition canvas is drawn from behavioral economics and choice psychology, and it guides the user into examining the human experience of their customers in relation to their product, service, or offer. It contains questions and sections that maneuver users into thinking through the customer experience from a customer perspective. And on the product side, it talks about features and benefits and experience. And the feature is a factual description of how your product or service works. The features are the functioning attributes of your offer. It's essentially, this is what it is. Now, a benefit is what your product or service does for the customer, and benefits are the ways that the features make your customers or service users' life easier by increasing pleasures or decreasing pain. And the experience is the way that owning your product or using your service makes a customer or service user feel. It's the sum of the combined features and benefits, and is more about the emotional reasons why people would buy your product or your service. So the features, benefits, and experience essentially explain what it is, what it can do for a customer, and how does it feel to use that product or that service. On the customer side, we talk about wants, needs, and fears. The wants are the emotional drivers of decision making and are usually conscious, aspirational thoughts about how we'd like our lives to be improved. The customer's needs, however, are the very rational things that the customer has to get done or has to achieve with your product or through your service. And then the fears are the very dark side of decision making, the fear of making a mistake, or the fear of missing out, or the fear of loss. And fears can be incredibly strong driver of purchasing behavior and can be the hidden source of the wants and the needs. And then finally, underneath the customer circle, if you like, there's the substitutes box. Now, these aren't the obvious competitors. Instead, look for existing coping mechanisms for your customers, or the things that your people do or buy instead of the solution that you or your competitors are proposing. So think of alternatives rather than competition, because no matter how much better your product or service is than the competition, if it isn't better than the existing solutions that are available to a potential customer, then you don't have a viable value proposition for that customer. When using the value proposition canvas, then start on the product or service side. Begin at the features section. It should be what you know about your product or service. The features, as I said, are the practical attributes, the what. So start there and then move around to the benefits. And this is what it does for a customer, and then consider the experience. This is how a customer feels to own or use your product or service. And then move on to the customer side and find out as much as you can about a potential customer's wants, needs, or fears. And if you don't know the answers, then you need to start talking to your potential customers and gaining some customer insight. One of the great things about the value proposition canvas, as with the business model canvas, is it's great for helping you to think about what you already know, but equally it's good at getting you to identify what you don't know. And if you don't know, then you need to find out. Thanks for taking the time to watch this presentation from the AYCH Creative Entrepreneurs Business Incubation Program. Please join me for the next in the series. Goodbye.